and welcome to episode 102 of the She Must Knit podcast. My name is Erin, and thank you so much for spending some of your time with me today. I hope you guys have had a good, almost 3 weeks. Oh my goodness, it feels like it's been forever since I sat down and had a little chat with you. But yeah, it just seems like the days are so unpredictable now. I don't know if it is just part mojo and part scheduling, but I feel like I haven't been knitting very much. Kira has entered her next phase where she's awake more, so even though she is still going 3 to 4 hours between eating, when she eventually goes down to sleep, I don't know how much time I have. I could have 30 minutes, I could have an hour, I could have 2 hours, I have no idea. And I've been finding by the time I get all the other things that I need to get done finished, I don't always have time to knit. There's been some days where I feel like I've knit 5 rows on something and that's about it. But I've finally been able to sit down today. I tried 2 other times this week and it just did not work out. But it is Friday, and one of the things we've been doing with Avery's schoolwork for the last couple of weeks is we try and get everything done before Friday. So her teacher will post the whole week's work. She'll post them in groups of like Monday's work, Tuesday's work, Wednesday's work, etc. But she'll post them all at the beginning of the week. And so we try and work ahead a little bit each day so that by the time Friday comes, we have a free day. I have a free day to do stuff like this. Avery has a free day to do whatever she wants. And that has worked out very nicely. So today is Friday, and Kira went down for her nap and she is still sleeping. And I haven't had breakfast yet, but I will have that after. I wanted to get this done. But yeah, I have a moment to sit down and show you guys what I've been working on. So let's get started. Oh my goodness, that's just too much chatter. So what do I have for you today? I have 2 finished objects, and then I have 3 other projects that I have been working on. One of them is a new cast on. And then at the end, I have a little bit of a yarn haul. So I think I mentioned in the last episode, or the one before that, I don't remember anymore, that I had placed 2 yarn orders for different projects that I want to do within the next couple months. And I placed those orders so that I would have the yarn that I needed. And those orders came in, and I filmed a little unboxing going through and showing you what I got and what projects I wanted them for. So I think I will put that on at the end as a little unboxing yarn haul. So let's get started. I'm going to start with my 2 finished objects. And the first one is another very, very simple one. I think I showed you this yarn in an upcoming projects segment last time, but I finished my second chenille baby blanket. So I've got this here. It's all done. It's crochet. I am loving these little blankets. The weather has finally warmed up. This week we had a little mini heat wave where temperatures were going up towards 35, 40 degrees. So I haven't needed them as much in terms of like going out for walks, but we do have our air conditioning on to keep things comfortable. So sometimes I'm still using them when she has a little nap and she's, I'll just put her in like a diaper or a very small onesie, and then I'll put this on her legs just to keep her little feet warm. So I am still using them, and I do have plans to keep making the 2 additional ones that I want. But this is made from the Bernat blanket yarn. I picked this up recently on one of my little Walmart trips. This is the color Dusk Horizon. I think it's really, really pretty. And basically what I do with these blankets is I get 1 ball, I have an 8mm hook, I chain about 50 chains to start, and then I just go until the ball runs out. And I have found it very interesting. This is the 3rd one I've made. I've made 2 for Kira and then 1 for the cat. They're all different sizes. So the yardage, even though, I know they say approximate yardage on the balls, but they've all been different sizes. This one is the most narrow that I've made so far. This is kind of the width end, but it is the most narrow that I've made so far, which is fine. I find it works really well when I use it on her swing or other. I don't need the length on this, so I am just really, really enjoying these blankets. And like I said, I have 2 more to make. I have a ball of a pink and white kind of twist, and then I have another ball that you will see in the yarn haul later. So that is my first finished object. Not much more to say about that. My second finished object is another little thing that I made for Kira, and I finished the Meili dress. So I've been working on this for a little while. I don't know, it feels like it's a little while. I mean, it's fingering weight yarn, it's cotton yarn. I do believe I finished this last week. I just had the urge to cast on another little garment, and I was like, no, you are finishing this first before you can do that. So I really plowed through this and worked on it as much as I could, but I am really happy with it. So you can see I've got the button side facing out. It can be worn with either the plain side out or the button side out. I like it with this side out. It's got the little seed stitch detailing there. It's got a seed stitch band here, and then the hem is supposed to have kind of a diamond seed stitch pattern, but I just ended it with a seed stitch hem. Now I will say I did not use the entire ball of yarn. This was one of those color changing cotton cakes, and I got down to this one here. And you can see that each kind of gradient section is fairly uniform in size. So I estimated how long the whole garment was going to be if I continued, like if I used the whole ball. So there was another, I think 2 after this before it got to the solid purple. And I decided that it was just, I didn't want a gown on her. Like I wanted it to be a dress, and I wanted it to potentially be something that if she still fit in it width-wise, could be, you know, a longer top or something like that. I didn't want a full gown. So after this section here, I decided just to cut the yarn and wind off what I wasn't going to use and go right to the purple and use the solid purple as the hem. And I think it still looks really nice. So I haven't had a chance to try this on her yet. I think I'm going to try and do that when she wakes up from her nap today. Like I said, the weather is warmer. It just hasn't been warm enough to put her in something like this, but it has been quite nice lately. I think when she gets up from her nap today, I might pop this on her just to see. Hopefully it fits okay. I'm hoping it will at least last the summer, but then if I am able to do that, I will pop in a little picture of her wearing it so that you can see. But overall, I am pleased with this. I like how it looks. I like the colors. I like that I was able to use that skein of cotton out of my stash. It blocked really nicely. I haven't actually like thrown it in the machine to wash and dry to see how that affects it, but it blocked really nicely, and I am pleased with the overall result. And I can mark that off on my bingo card as a pattern that I used, that I acquired before this year. So that's one little check mark towards one of those boxes. So those are my 2 finished objects, and we will now get into the work in progress projects that I've been working on. And we are going to start with my May Desert Vista Dye Works socks. We are not quite at the end of the month yet. I think, are you losing track of your days? Because I'm losing track of my days. I swore I still had like a week left for this month's challenge, and I realized yesterday that it was like the 27th. I think today's the 28th. I don't know. But I was like, oh my goodness, I only have like a few days left. So as much as I have really been wanting to work on some of the other projects I have or start other projects, I was like, no, you need to focus on your socks first, especially considering there are some days where I just don't get a lot of knitting time. I'm like, you need to focus on these socks and get them done. So the other day, I forget if it was yesterday, it might have been yesterday, again, no sense of time, I finished the first sock. So this is my May color that I chose. This was Sonoran Nights or something, I forget now. Desert, I don't know. Okay. I feel like my brain is just mush, and that might be because of Kira, and that might be because of just we're all in these little bubbles, and who knows what's going on in the world now, right? But yeah, it was the exclusive skein from last year if you finished the whole year's challenge, and I decided to make these for my friend for her birthday in June. She really likes these kinds of colors, so I finished the first sock, thank goodness. So I know if I have a lot of knitting time, I can do a pair in 4 days. So since I've done the first sock, and I still have maybe 4 days, I don't know, to do the second one, I should be okay if I can sit and work on it. So I just did my vanilla pattern. I used the numbers that I use for myself. She has the same size feet as I do and likes the fit of the socks I've made her in the past. So I cast on 81 stitches. I did actually 2 repeats of the stripe for the rib because it's only a 4 row repeat instead of a lot of her other colorways have 6 to 8 different colors. This is only 4, so I did 2 repeats for the cuff, and then I think I did 1 repeat until I started the heel, and I did my triangular shape heel with the reverse stockinette there, and then I worked down the foot. And I just put these little markers to count every 10 rows so that I can make sure I do the same amount of rows on the second sock. So this one is done, and I was able to cast on the second sock within, 30 minutes of finishing that first sock. I was able to cast on the second one. And this is what I have so far. And usually, I will tell you that I rewind the cake so that the stripes are in a reverse order. However, when I finished this one, the color that I had, you can see it just started there, was this dark blue. And I was sitting on the couch, and I forget if she was with me or not, but I wasn't in the situation to get up where I could rewind the cake, but I really wanted to get the second stock started. So when I looked at this one, I noticed that it started on the color that was right after the dark blue. So I decided just to wind off that blue and start the second sock at the same point. So hopefully these will match. I know my friend won't care if they don't. If they go a little off on the heel, it'd be fine. But for now, these ones are going to be actual matching socks. So I have this done. I have 1 repeat done in the ribbing. I have another repeat to go before I start in stockinette. And then I just knit, 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 knit. And I find the top of the sock, the leg of the sock takes a little bit longer. If I can get through the heel before the last day, I can do the foot in a day. Again, that's if I have knitting time. Okay, I just need to motor on these and do as much as possible, because who knows, everything is so up in the air now. So that is my progress on those. I think I should be able to finish them without a problem. If it means I have to stay up, I can do that. She's actually pretty predictable now, where she goes down for the night between 7 and 9, and then she's good until about 2, 3 in the morning. So if I have to stay up, I will. I don't want to. I like going to bed a little earlier, but if I have to stay up, I will, to get these done. So that is my first work in progress. The other one that I was able to get a little bit of work done is also one that you've seen. I believe last episode I talked about how I was taking my crocheted hand-spun owl blanket that I have no desire to finish as a blanket, and I'm going to try turning all the pieces and all the yarn and all the bits that I have into a pillow. So I had started the base of the pillow with some of the hand-spun yarn that I had, and that's what I showed you. And I have since worked on it. So the last time I showed it to you, I was working through my first cake of yarn, and you can see right here with the tails, I recently joined the second skein of yarn. So I am just doing a basic granny square around and around and around and around. I have a pillow form that is quite a large square, and I am just going to keep working until either I run out of yarn because I only have 2 cakes of this hand spun, or if I reach the size of the pillow form. And I checked it against it the other day, and I'm almost there. I have maybe, a couple of inches before it reaches the same size as the pillow. So we are getting there. And then what I am going to do is I have all these little owl motifs and pieces. I'm going to use this as the background, and I'm just going to stitch those owl motifs on this instead of bordering them all and joining them all like a traditional blanket, or like the original pattern requires you to do. So whenever I'm not working on my socks and I have a little bit of time, I've been working on this because I find the crochet, it's just very easy, and I can get a couple of stitches in, or I can get a couple of rounds in, and I really want to get to the next part where I can start planning how I attach the owls and the circles onto this front piece. I do have to also go through my fabric stash and see if I have something that will be a nice lining. Because it is crochet, you can see that there are the holes, and I just want kind of a solid or semi-solid coordinating fabric that I can make a cover for, so that any crochet holes that are in any of the pieces will have something that kind of shows through, and you're not just going to see the white pillow form underneath. So that is the progress that I have made on that. And then finally I have a new cast on. So once I finished the Mei Li dress, I wanted to immediately start another little garment for Akira, and I think I showed you last time there was 2 possible options. There was the tartlet, and then there was that that little pullover with the little baubles going along the front, the string of pearls or something. I know that's not what it is, that's just what I keep calling it. But it was between those two patterns, and I decided to start the tartlet just because it's more of a little short sleeve shrug. I thought it would be really nice for over the summer to layer with some onesies and other things. I had to place an order for some clothes for her this week because I realized she's still in newborn clothes, and all the newborn clothes that I have that my friend gave to us are all like sleepers. And when we were hit with this warm weather this week, I was like, oh my goodness, like some of these temperatures, like these sleepers are just way too hot for this weather. So I had to order some more short sleeve sleepers. I don't really like the onesies that go over the head and snap. She does not like things going over her head, and it's always a struggle to get those on her. So I was able to find some short sleeve and short legged zip up or snap up sleepers, so that will be perfect. So I ordered some of those, and I thought something like this would be perfect to just layer over top of that if we are outside in the shade and maybe there's a breeze or maybe it's cooler and we just want a little extra warmth but not too much extra warmth. So that's why I decided to cast on the tartlet. And this is a perfect example of how much knitting time I am finding that I have been having. So I cast this on one night, and this is how it started. This is all I got done that day. This was a day's worth of knitting. Whenever the day that I started this is all that I got done, and then I had to put it down, and I haven't touched it since. So like I said, I want to get my May socks done, and then I think I'm going to be making this a priority because I think it's going to be a really quick knit once I get started. It's just I haven't had a chance to get back to it. So with this pattern, you start with the neckline, and I'm not sure if you're going to be able to tell because of the speckling, but you do this little cable, and you do it for a certain length depending on the size that you're making, and then you're going to pick up on the edge to start increasing for the body. And this is one of the things that I love. So Tartlet is designed by Frogginette Designs, and I have made tons of her patterns, and I love that they are very classic, but they have they always have these unique little details that are simple to do but just make the design stand out from just being like a plain knit. So this one has this little cable that is going to be going around the neckline, and I think around the front of the little shrug. So I just have to keep doing this little cable until I reach the length that I need, and then I'll be picking up along the edge to start the body. The yarn that I am using is some that I've had in my stash for I think at least 2 years. This is by, I always want to say Totally Inked Yarns because that's what she started as, and then she changed her name. Blue Water Fiber Arts is what she is now. But I just really, really love her. She has some colorways that are my absolute favorite, and she had some yarn in a local yarn store when we were doing a yarn crawl, and so I picked one up, and I think this is super, super pretty. I know for a fact one of the little rompers that I ordered is this kind of purpley pink here, so I think this will be really, really cute layered with that. So yeah, and this is fingering weight, and the pattern, it calls for either a DK or a worsted, so I am holding my fingering weight double, and that is something I just really like to do to use up fingering weight for worsted weight projects. It's just super easy, and it gets the one skein out no problem. So this is going to be a one skein project, doubled yarn. Once I get to that body shaping, it should go super, super quick. And yeah, I'll have another garment done, and then I think I'm going to do that, the one with the gray and the pink, because I think I have some things that it will look really nice with too. So that is my new cast on project, and I think that is all that I've been working on this last little while. So next I am going to insert the clip for my little yarn haul, so if you're interested in watching that, you can stick around. And if you're not interested, that is fine too. I hope you have a wonderful weekend and a wonderful week or so before I see you next, and I will talk to you soon. Bye. We've got boxes. So I recently mentioned how I did 2 orders for some yarn for some projects that I really wanted to do, and today these boxes showed up, so I'm pretty sure these are both the orders. I know this is the Knit Picks one. If you've ordered from Knit Picks before, you will recognize this. This doesn't have any labeling on it, but I'm guessing that this is my Yarn Canada order. So I guess we will see when we open it up. So I'm going to get my scissors and we'll open these up and see what's inside. So we are going to start with this one again. I think this is my Yarn Canada order. So let's find out. Yes, I can recognize the items already. So there's my invoice. And yeah, so I think most of these are for projects. There might have been one that I threw in just to get to the shipping because I think I was really close to the free shipping amount. But otherwise, this is all for projects. So if it's for a specific pattern and I can put a picture of it up in the corner, I will. But let's start with what's on the top here. So I got 3 balls of the Peyton's Canadiana in a true red, as well as one in this golden yellow. My last episode, I mentioned how one of my goals for June is, well, it's actually to start it in May, but I need to finish it for June, is the sweater for my friend's daughter, Mackenzie. I make her something every single year. And this year, I really want to make her I think it's called the Tutu Top. It's by Frogginette Designs. I've made it before. It's really, really cute. My friend's daughter loves Wonder Woman. And so I want to try and modify the colorings of this pattern so that it kind of looks like a Wonder Woman costume. So I bought the red to go for the top part of the sweater. I got the yellow to do the little welt so that this would be like the belt. And then I wanted to get a sparkly royal blue for the kind of tutu skirt part, but Yarn Canada was out of stock. So I did click on the notify me when available thing, and hopefully by the time I get through the first part of this pattern, the blue will come back in stock and I can order that and I can do the little skirt. But I think that's going to be really, really cute for her. Next is this Marble Chunky. I've used this many, many times. I love this yarn, both the DK version and the chunky yarn. I think there is a pattern in one of my magazines that's for like a chunky kind of little sweater coat that I want to make for Kira for the fall. And so I ordered this to do that. So again, I will put a picture of that up in the corner, but this will be for a pattern that I currently have in my stash, so that will work for my bingo card, which is awesome. I think these 2 things were what I added in just to bump me up to the free shipping amount. I'm still really liking making those washcloths for Christmas gifts and combining it with like a scrubby yarn. I have one that I've been using and I love it, so I got this to go with kind of a natural colored cotton. I have some left over from that Miss Daisy cardigan and that little bear hat, and I thought the rest of it would make good washcloths. So I ordered this to be held double with that. And then I threw in these little clips as well. I find these really handy for seaming things up, and these were like little tiny ones. I have bigger ones. These are tiny. I thought these would be handy. So these were kind of like add-ons. Oh, and this. So this is a giant crochet hook. What do I want to make with this? Oh yes, I have a project in mind. I'm not going to talk about it too much here, but there's a past project that I'm no longer happy with that I'm going to kind of revisit and turn into something else. And I'm going to be holding multiple strands together. And so I wanted a big crochet hook and I didn't have any big enough. So this is a 10mm hook. So now I will be able to experiment with that project. So there's that. I've also talked about how much I am loving those chenille blankets for the baby. I don't think I need a whole lot to get me through the summer because it's getting too warm to use them as a blanket. I still am using them as like a mat, but I will have this made. I think this is going to be the stroller blanket for when the weather starts to cool down again in September, October. So this is going to be a stroller blanket. And I just really thought this purple was really cute and would really pop against her stroller. Is like this bright kind of lime green, and I thought this would really complement that. So that is going to be a blanket. And then I have this here. This is some Super Value in the gray. This goes along with the project for this hook. Because I'm holding strands double, I need more of this yarn than what I had in the previous project. So I ordered another ball of that. And then it looks like we have 2 little bonus lollipops just thrown in there as a thank you. I will be giving these to Avery. So next, now that we've got through that box, let's go to the Knit Picks box. So here's the Knit Picks box, and again, I placed my order with a specific project in mind that I needed yarn for, and then I think there might be one or two other extra things in here. I think again, once I ordered everything I wanted to, I was just like maybe $10 off from free shipping, so I added some stuff. Don't we all do that? Anyway, so let's see what is in this box. Okay, here we go. Look at all this fun stuff. So right away, I can tell you that this, I don't think this was, okay, I can tell you right off, this was not a planned purchase, but I saw this on the website. They were $5 a ball, and I just had visions of last winter. I really wanted a cowl that had like a super soft, warm inside. If you remember, I was dealing a lot with my asthma, and it's cold-induced asthma, and I just find that keeping the air that I'm breathing in warm really helps. So I was like, oh, this would make such a nice lining to a cowl. So I think originally I had put 2 in my cart, but then when I got to the end, I needed a little bit more. So I was like, you know what? If I really like this, I could always do this as a gift. So I think I added 2 more. So I have 4 balls of this fur yarn. It is really soft, and I like how it looks like fur. Like it doesn't look too cheap. I think that's really nice. So hopefully it washes well. But I mean, really, how often do you wash winter accessories? But that's what I got this for, is to try doing like a lining for a cowl. The next ones I see that are for specific projects, these are the reason that I placed the order. I have these 2 balls in the Knit Pick Stroll sock weight yarn. This color is in Pucker, and Avery picked this one out. One of the goals for my bingo card is to make a matching sweater for Avery and Kira. So same pattern, but different colors. And this is the one that Avery picked out. So this bright pink. And then for Kira, I picked out this purple. And this is in Paisley Heather. It's kind of like this really pretty heathered purple. So they will each get these 2 for their colored. And then I wanted to do the base color of the sweater, like a kind of a charcoal, not too dark, but like a charcoal gray or a heathered gray. But the color that would have been appropriate was out of stock, and it's been out of stock forever. And I think they said it was going to be out of stock until June, end of June sometime. So I just decided to order 2 skeins of their Stroll Bear yarn, and I will dye this in kind of a medium gray to go with the other colors. So that's the plan for that. And then these 2 were add-ons as well. I find every time I go into the Knit Picks website, they have new yarns that I haven't seen before, and this was one of them. So it was this static fingering weight yarn, and it's kind of a striking yarn, kind of a self-patterning, but it looked really cool, and I thought this would be a great color for like one of my brothers or for Dennis for some socks, because I do make a lot of man socks. So I picked that up, and I think the price was really reasonable as well. It was on sale. So I picked this up to make some man socks, and then finally I think I threw in another skein of the cotton dishy to make some dishcloths for Christmas gifts. So that is the end of all my yarn. It's so nice. It's so satisfying sometimes to do a little yarn haul. I haven't bought any yarn, like placed an online order for yarn since before Christmas. So this should keep me busy for a little while. And that's it for my little haul. And now back to the regular video.